Hi, good evening or good morning, depends where you are, like always. It's April the 15th, okay, and it's 11 o'clock here in the evening in Madrid, Spain. I think we're in week 5 of lockdown, and things are sort of getting interesting, so I thought it was a good moment to put a video on. Well, you've probably seen that I haven't put a video on for the last, let's say, 10 days, more than anything because of the Easter break. I decided to take a few days off and spend time with the kids and just at least dedicate myself just to the kids, all right? With work and things like that, there was a lot of things that we had to touch on, that I had to touch on, and it was pretty complicated. So I thought, all right, since we've got the Easter break, kids haven't got school, no homework, and I could sort of ask for holidays and just dedicate ourselves just to spend time with one another. So anyway, so I came back to work yesterday, and I had plenty of emails and chats, messages with friends, from friends, okay, asking me to give them some more updates. For some reasons, they sort of trust the information I've given them. So I thought, all right, since I'm back at work, I can sort of pull some information together and sort of give you this video for today. And I'm hoping to, start all over again, giving you daily updates, at least every second day. Where are we with figures? Okay, in Spain, we're infected 177,000. In the last 24 hours, it's been 5,092. Recovered 70,850. Okay, so it's pretty good. I think on the last video I mentioned it was about 1/3. Okay, so we're almost hitting the half mark. So we can only thank the doctors and nurses who are working there at 100%, 120%, okay, and risking their lives to bring that up. Deaths, 18,600 in total. In the last 24 hours, 523. I did have someone ask, have the numbers gone up or whatever? Yeah, the numbers have gone up. Let's say slightly, I'm not saying hundreds or thousands, okay, it's slightly gone up. And let's not forget it was the Easter break, okay? So it could be that some regions, okay, the people who were sent, regions, hospitals, elderly aged care centres and things like that, and those people that were sending the information may have taken the week off or something like that, or at least those 3 or 4 days, okay? And hence when they went to work this morning, they've sent the information, so it may have seemed like the numbers had gone up. Only expected. Okay, you might say, oh geez, hold on, in this situation, how could they do that? Let's say it's been a month that we've been closed down. So, there's been a lot of stress, a lot of strain, and let's say negative news. So, let's let the people have a few days off. So, yeah, in that, fine. Now, where are we with the video, right? And sort of my predictions from that last video. As I've probably mentioned in the videos, okay, with a friend, we put some stats together, okay, to sort of calculate when we'd sort of come out of this. And what we sort of did was grab sort of a database, and we sort of put our own R0 information together to sort of see when we'd hit the peak and when would be a sort of a decent time to sort of, lift some of the restrictions, okay. Probably about, let's say 10 days ago, we were at probably 1% on the R0. So probably someone's asking, what's the R0? It's the how much disease can spread. Okay, a contagious disease can spread from one person to the other. Okay. As soon as it hits 1 to 1, so if I make contact with one person and it spreads, okay, that's when you start to hit sort of like your risk. But obviously, if or 1 to 2, you won't be able to spread. That's obviously really dangerous. So what you have to try to do is to bring that down. That's why they have that curve, and as soon as you start to bring that down, okay, that's where you start. That's where it's a good sign. What we'd sort of calculated is if we had 150 people less hospitalized, okay, we sort of put that's sort of like a conservative number. That's what we thought, right? And if there was 150 people less each day, okay, we would have around 0.4, 0.5% by the 22nd of April, okay. and it seems we thought it was a reasonable figure, and by what we were seeing, what the government was doing, okay, and that's what it looked like we were doing, what was going to happen. Okay, so by the 22nd, we thought that they would lift some of the restrictions and some people would be able to go back to work. Obviously, since we've got 2 public holidays in May, let's say the beginning of May, because of Labor Day, and then the mid of May, since it's the patron day of Madrid, okay, we said no way they're going to lift any more restrictions, more than anything, because if they did, everyone would just pick up and leave Madrid. Hence, the disease would spread all over Spain once again, and the numbers would go up. Okay, so I would say that the government wouldn't want that, so hence they wouldn't lift everything up. And then in regards to school, but we didn't we didn't think that they would fully lift up the restrictions until, let's say, end of May, beginning of June. In regards to school, we said that this school year was over, and there's no way. Reason being, as I've mentioned, the school year here was meant to finish by around the 15th, I think it was the 18th of June. So to send the kids back to school for 2 or 3 weeks, pretty much silly. Okay, so that's what we sort of predicted by the figures that we put together. Now, where are we today? Okay, what's the actual situation? Probably, I was a bit surprised and probably, let's say, I won't say better than expected, but I was a bit surprised. Okay. We're obviously a bit better off than Italy, okay, where they are, right? They're meant to be 2 or 3 weeks in front of us, okay, but where we are with the infection and things like that, I think we're a bit ahead, okay? But it's also pretty dangerous, right? Because now we're walking out on the tightrope. Before, Italy was sort of like a reference, and we could sort of follow their steps, okay? But we've got to a stage where we're ahead of them, and now we've got to go our own little way. Okay, so I won't say it's scary, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge for the government and for us as well, right? Because we can't foresee what may happen. Okay, but anyway, let's see how they do it, how we slowly integrate the people and return back to normal. Let's go. The first thing that we've seen is on the weekend they sort of announced that on Monday, last Monday, yesterday, that they lift part of the restrictions of those essential. You know, there was they did the essential, and then they did a greatest restriction, which was just, you know, narrowed down essential down. While they've lifted the that up again, okay, on Monday, and they've allowed some of the people to go to work, okay. Now that got me bust, because we weren't expecting it until probably about a week or 2. So to do that's good. Now I'm not sure if they were pressured by economists and things like that, because I'd understand that you know, they probably warned them that there may be more deaths from poverty than from actual coronavirus. So you know, I'm pretty sure that they've probably been you know, pressured by the economists to sort of lift that up. But anyway, let's see what happens. All right. So with this, we might see another lift as well. Today they also announced that that schools will open in June and July. Okay. Now you're probably saying, "Oh, gee, see, they got you off on that." Well, no. Okay, so there is a let's say a small wording there. Schools would open for in June and July for those children, okay, that have difficulties. Okay, they'll be able to go to school, so then the teachers can give them lessons. So then, when next year they enter the school year, they haven't dropped the level, they haven't lost anything. Okay, and it's not obligated. Okay, this is all, you know, if you please or if you want. Yeah, it's not mandatory. Let's say it's not mandatory. It's each person's choice to take the children to the school or not. So anyway, so let's see what happens there. But anyway, they're opening the schools, so that's good. But in June and July, and there's also some discussions around letting the adults go to do exercise, running, or go to the park to do exercises. Gyms, no, only open air exercises. So let's go out in the park or whatever. Okay, and also children's to go for a walk, at least during 1 hour during the day. Okay, so I'm not sure when that will kick in. It could be next week that they bring that in. But yeah, it's you know, it's starting to become really difficult with the kids at home. I suppose a good question that's come up is, and what they're finding is, how do we integrate, let's say that risk group, the elderly, or the people who have diseases or illness, all right, that if they got the disease, you know, they'll be in a difficult situation. And this is where it's sort of like getting a bit scary, because there's things that are coming out doing like Group A population and Group B population. The Group A population is those who are immune, children, whatever, have one life, and the Group B, the risk factors, until we have a vaccine for it, okay, they'll have like or stay at home, or being put into hotels, and keeping them away from day-to-day living. So that's pretty strange. It's what they're calling the Noah's Ark here in Spain. And the other one is the tracking device. Having a health passport where if you've been, if you've had it and you're immune to it, or you're a child or whatever, as I said, you would have a health passport, and you'll be able to walk out in the streets and go to work, etc., etc., or else you won't have it and you'll have to stay at home. Okay, but within that health passport, you would have a tracking device. Now that was passed during this 2 or 3 weeks. All right, they've passed that by law. Okay, and they will able to trace you. Okay, on your GPS, on your phones, and things like that. So here we are. We're starting to see some of our privacy sort of taken away there. So that's going to be a difficult one. How do we integrate the people back into the day-to-day living, into normal life? So let's see how we go there. I'll sort of try to keep you informed on that part. Something else has sort of like come out on the news today is there was also something over the weekend, which was in regards to property, private property, and I think this is by law as well, where they can confiscate property, okay, private property, and give it to the needy if required. All right. Now they do say that is only during this let's say COVID-19 period, okay, but let's see what happens. Right, so it's something really interesting to keep an eye on. Okay, in regards to economy, okay, just to let you know that there's been about 6 million people unemployed in Spain during this last 5 weeks. 1.4 self-employed, okay, have lost their jobs, and we've got 4 million that have gone onto this temporary unemployment plan. Okay, so it's hitting us pretty strong. Okay, what we're expecting at the moment, I think we're hitting 13.6 unemployed, 13.6% unemployment rate. Okay, and by the end of this, we're going back up to 20%. That's what they're telling us. Okay, so we're going to similar figures. I think in the GFC, I think we were hitting the 25%. So we're going back to the 20%, which is a concern, especially Spain, which has been in a crisis and had a difficult situation. To then find ourselves, in a matter of months hitting that again, it's pretty tough. Okay. In regards to debt, okay, debt to GDP ratio, I think today we're about 96%, 97%. Okay. What they just told us on the news is that after this we'll be at 113%. Obviously extremely high, and not good news, All I can just sort of say, it's a good thing that the Spanish have gone through so much. If it wasn't for their own civil war, it was the terrorist groups and the political scene inside. That's going to be interesting, and let's see what happens there, because I am expecting once this is finalised that big issues will start to arise in regards to the political scene. Okay, and as we go on, I'll sort of keep you updated, because that's a real big concern. But anyway, the Spanish are pretty. They've got a good way of looking at life, and especially when it comes to difficult situations, they're able to get themselves together, and work forward. Okay. I'd say before I close off, today we received bad news. Okay, from my good friend, work colleague. Jose Antonio Aldama. His father passed away due to the coronavirus last Thursday, and it's sad. But I suppose one of the points that was sort of mentioned was the figures. When you're watching the figures, it's 523 dead. And the government just says it like that: 523 dead. And he's saying, and he was saying, you don't. 523 dead doesn't hit you. It's when you actually put the names behind those figures that you start to see that it's actual people, and then we need to respect that. Respect those people. The people who have lost on the way, and hence it's something that I'm trying to say. Let's respect the elderly, because at the end they're the ones that are dying. Okay, and we're going to take note that they are actual parents it's parents who are passing away. It's a person that is dying, but it's also the families who are suffering. Okay, and a lot of this family, even as he mentioned, he never got to see his father, never got to say goodbye to his father, and he hasn't even been able to give him a funeral yet, a proper funeral. This video is dedicated to my good friend Jose Antonio Aldama and to his father who passed away. Respect for them, for the elderly who are passing away, and let's just take note. It's not numbers, it's not figures. They're actually people. They're our fathers, our mothers, and uncles and aunties. So I'm going to finish off with that note. Great to be back. Great to be able to give you some insights what's happening and what's going to happen, how we integrate the people back into our into the day-to-day living, what the government sort of introduces, and let's see the political scene, how it works out here in Spain. Once again, thanks a lot. There's always a reason to smile. Tomorrow's Thursday, weekend's just around the corner. Not that it means much, but it's also always a good thing to aim for. Take care.